Hello, I'm going to review the movie Up. I don't know why I'm holding it like you don't know what it is. This is the film. This is the back. It's on. I watched the Blu-ray edition, so that my. Sorry, I've filmed a few times. I keep messing up. Anyway, yeah, I really like this movie. 10 out of 10. It's another Pixar classic. I mean, they only make good movies, but so Pete Docter directed it. It's a funny name, Pete Docter. What if what if he became a doctor? Is his dad or mum a doctor? Doctor. Sorry. He directed Monsters Inc. and that was really good as well. I think what stands out about Up is how it's so powerfully moving, so quickly, so easily, and yet it's also hilarious. It could be one of their, well, I don't know. They're so consistent with Pixar's. All of their movies. I mean, The Incredibles is a bit different. It's got a lot more action. It's maybe a bit darker, a bit more serious or dark in tone. But yeah, anyway, this movie's hilarious. Where should I start? I want to start with some of those opening montages. The nice Michael Giacchino did the music, and there's this waltz. Da da na na. Let me try again. Da na na na. Da na 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 da da na da da. Da na na na. And it gets used sort of upbeat, but then also same thing, but just on piano solo. I mean, it's. I think the reason it's so powerful, okay, images and music together are potent, okay. They're super powerful. The reason they're not in a lot of movies is because movies are so cliched. They're so unoriginal. They're so controlled and much the way people speak. I think people speak in phrases, catchphrases, and they don't really think. They just string sequences together. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Even like if I say that sort of thing, there's phrases that you don't break it up. You don't. The other thing is it uses not too much dialogue. A lot of that stuff is just purely gestures and facial expressions and just the way it's the lighting, the body language, and the message is, or not the message, but the content. What's happening is simple and it's very sincere, and the music's really heartfelt and it's incredibly powerful. I was moved basically to tears a few times, just very instantly, because I connect to the characters. I have empathy. And it's heartbreaking that they want to have a child. I'm spoiling the movie, by the way. And then they set up the baby's room, and then we sort of get the impression she has a miscarriage. Ellie. It's also funny how she's so energetic as a kid, and she's got this funny tooth. But then she looks more sort of normal, or just nice looking as an adult. I think that's a nice message that is very true. Kids can sometimes be quirky or funny, or they could be chubby as a child, but then that doesn't reflect what they end up like as an adult. You can change quite a lot anyway. And then later on, it's so sad when she tries to come up the hill and he's got the hidden tickets to take them on an adventure, and then she sort of slows down, and you realize, oh my god, and then she's in hospital, and then cuts to a funeral. It's just so quick and so beautiful. Like, they don't shy away from it, and they don't try to make it anything more. I think it's also because of the little details. It's not saying it's not a typical this is the sad moment, this is the part where they die and you're holding them and you're like, no. It's nothing like that. It's just little snapshots of what might actually happen at random places, just with a character looking down or breathing, and then you connect with them, and it's unique. I don't know. Anyway, what else? Let me pause it. Okay. Anyway, I'll move on to other parts. I just want to say Michael Giacchino also did The Incredibles music, and I really like it. But he did the music for Lost, I think, and it's funny because when he did that, I was like, this music's terrible. I didn't like it at all, and I think the common thing is J.J. Abrams made it, so that backs up my personal theory that J.J. Abrams is a terrible director. Because even when John Williams does the music, I don't think the music was bad, but it was certainly not anywhere near on par with the other Star Wars movies. Anyway, by the way, I think near the end where the planes crash, I feel like maybe that was a homage to the TIE fighters in Star Wars. They say, I don't know, someone shouts Squirrel and they're like, Squirrel, Squirrel, and they also crash. Reminded me of that, the ending of Star Wars. Alright, I should get into the comedy. There's so many hilarious moments. The idea of having a dog that has a little voice box and you can hear what he's saying. Is there someone there? Are you okay? Um, I love the dog's voice. Anyway, hi there. Whoever, I think it's Bob Peterson does the voice. He's like the co-director or something. I'm trying to think of other lines he has, but anyway, all of them are hilarious. You are my master, and I love you. Sorry. I love when he's gonna throw the ball and he's like, I do want the ball. I so do want the ball. I will go get it and bring it back for you. I don't know. I really like that bit, and I really like the bird, the very subtle, the sort of beak popping out and having some of the chocolate and then just coming out. Something about the timing of it is incredibly comical and very natural. Not I don't know how they did it, if they, because I think animators deserve a lot of respect, not just 2D animators, but 3D animators, any of them, because I think some people simplify it. They do it all on a computer. First off, you have to tell the computer what to do. You need lots of different artists, programmers, people to solve problems and figure out how to make it work. There's so many errors and mistakes that can happen with computers. Especially computers are not used to things hitting each other. It's used to things just passing through. But yeah, I don't know. Did they watch a bird, or did they just sort of imitate what they wanted in a mirror and then copy that or record themselves? In any case, it's interesting, and a lot of like, it's effective and funny. A lot of it has that like, I like funniest home videos if they're real. I don't like when they're fake. And I think Bob Saget might be one of the, I don't know, some of the lamest jokes and that I've ever seen on America's Funniest Home Videos. But the videos themselves can be hilarious when someone just trips over, that kind of slapstick comedy that's spontaneous and unexpected. They capture that in the animation a bit, I guess. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. The little Asian boy, or I'm guessing he's Asian because of his eyes, I think. I don't know if that's racist. Maybe he's not. Russell, he's nice. I think what's cool is the tone of the movie is unique. It's not a standard format. They're all quirky, different characters, none of which you would think would be main characters, like an old man and a dog and a little boy and his giant bird. I really liked also with the montage where she kept doing his tie up and it started focusing on the tie and all the different kinds of tie, and then the last time she does it and you realize he's old, and and the fact that they were saving up money to try to go on an adventure, and then they kept having to break it and it's kind of a mixture of comedy, but also there's like I feel like that must be so relevant to a lot of people's lives, where your dreams get sidetracked because of reality, because of life, because of being bogged down with bills and things you have to pay, things you have to do. And I thought it was really moving as well later on. But yeah, I guess my point is, sorry, that time can just pass suddenly. You can just realize after all that time, oh, that's it. I'm old now. I'm not young anymore. I've lost that. But I guess it's kind of cool. It's exciting that he then goes on an adventure anyway. I forget what I was going to say. Yeah, I also found it moving when he looks at the book. He keeps looking at the book and there's the music, and you're just affected. I think, again, because that opening sequence is so honest and truthful and unique. It just shows the characters and I don't know, it's just very original and creative, so you really connect with it. But anyway, and then he sort of finally opens later and he realizes his wife put in all these pictures, and it's like their wedding and their time together as they grew older, and that was her adventure. And that's really powerful and beautiful. And she leaves a message for him. And I just thought it was nice at that point that he then sort of empties the house of everything to lighten the load. I think that's an interesting metaphor. I would never read too much into it, but yeah, it's nice. All these balloons, so many helium balloons, the buoyancy just lifting his house into the air, turning it into a blimp, so that he can get to South America. It's very convenient how they get to the right place. But anyway, that's fine. The little boy had the GPS, so anyway, but yeah, just the idea that he can, now that he's lived his life with her, and all those appliances and furniture in the house have done their job, he can let go of them, and it really does lighten the weight. I think people often hold on to things. I certainly do, just even out of nostalgia, and I think that's part of the message of the movie. Is he says something like it was just a house later on. It might have been the place where lots of things happened for him, but that's those memories exist within him. Those are the important things. And also just the fact that it happened, it's done. And I don't necessarily, I'm sort of atheist, I guess, whatever, not, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that stuff is hard to define, but, in a way I would say I believe in heaven, or that in some place all of these memories still exist and they can never truly be lost. And when you die, you can spend your time, or you can remember, exist in that world of all your happiest memories. So I don't think it's lost. You don't need to hold on to those physical things. And I mean, there are some people that are hoarders. So anyway, I just think there's value in sometimes letting go of things. Anyway, so just jumping around, I think it was a Planet of the Apes reference when they arrived, and there's all the dogs sort of the dogs take them prisoner. And then the music sounded a lot like something, and I think it's the Planet of the Apes. That's the vibe I was getting. And then it clicked, all these dogs are able to speak. It seemed very similar. It's like Planet of the Dogs. It was hilarious that leading dog had the high-pitched voice. I can't do it, but, and yeah, just I still love that dog. I can't remember all the lines. There's so many little references. When they're in the plains and it's got the little bone, and when they pour the champagne, they bring the note, and he's like, yeah, just surprise me. They bring the champagne and they just pull it open, and just spilling everywhere, because they're dogs, they can't pour it properly. I found that hilarious. And I just think a lot of the comedy works because it's not punchlines, it's not just a joke. There were quite a few parts where I thought the dog was going to say something, but he didn't, and I realized it was interesting. I was expecting a line, but you often don't need a line to express emotions, and it's just ironic because dogs usually don't have the capability of speaking. So expecting this dog to talk, and then it didn't, was kind of funny. Okay, just a couple other things. I watched it with Russian subtitles, and it had for Doug, the dog. I think there's a connection, but I noticed in Russian, I think it said Dag. But I don't know if I would have noticed the connection. I think Doug is just meant to be a play on the word dog or something. I don't know, whatever. But the other thing I wanted to say is the physics of the movie. I think it exists in this heightened fantasy world, and that's what animation is about. It can pull your heartstrings, it can make you laugh, it can be exciting, and it just has to be consistent. And I think actually the physics make a lot of sense. There's no parts that I think are actually sort of incorrect. They're just very far-fetched and extreme. The fact that they can survive those situations is crazy. But technically, if you have enough helium balloons, you can float a house. The hardest part is disconnecting it from the ground. Sorry, because that'll take a lot of force, and if it takes that much force, then it should really be flying. Sorry, I'm like hiccuping or something. Flying up. Like, so unless he might have severed the connections underneath during the night. I don't know. Then maybe it could work. But anyway, what I like is that there's creativity within that heightened fantasy world. And then it's like you feel like anything could happen, and there's never too much sense of danger. It's all for fun. And anyway, my point is it works, but there's still I don't know, like a consistency. It's not just stupid, it's not just random. There's like a sense of danger, and then you can always sense what the sort of danger is, or the fight going on. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if this made any sense. Anyway, I think it's a classic, like, yeah, very moving, nice message as well, that, you have to love who you're with at the time, and value life and saving people and helping them more than maybe your personal mission that you've decided, oh, I'm going to get my house over there for no specific reason. It might mean something to him, but it's kind of nice that he ends up parenting Russell a bit, or he hears the story and you sort of realize, oh, Russell, I don't know what happened with his mother, maybe she passed away, it's implied, and his father never seems to be there. So then this old man, Fredrickson, I forget his first name, ends up being there for him. I think that's a really nice message as well. It gives him something to do afterwards. And the end credits, I really like how they're creative. It's nice that it's not just the same old, they create something to make it fun so that there's some motivation to watch it and appreciate all the people that worked on it. Even if there's a lot of random names, I still like to do that. Anyway, so I'll leave it there. Classic movie. I think that's only the second, maybe third time I've seen it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.